Wheel bearings are one of the very important motorcycle components which are often ignored during regular maintenance. In this video, let's see how to properly service your wheel bearings and inspect for any damages. If your bike squeaks or make cracking noise while riding, chances are that your wheel bearings are worn out. Also, if you see any play while you move your wheel side by side, that indicates a shattered or damaged bearing. In order to remove and inspect your bearings, you have to get the wheel out of your bike. Unscrew the axle nut followed by the washer and the chain adjuster. If your axle is too tight to come out, use a hammer in combination with a rod or a screwdriver to drive the axle out. Once the wheel is out of the bike, remove the sprocket along with the hub. And also keep aside the wheel hub damper bush. Here is the first bearing of your wheel, and there is one more bearing on the other side. In order to get access to the second bearing, you have to first remove the spacer. You can already see the bearing inside. In order to get access to this bearing, you have to first remove the rubber seal which is protecting this bearing from dust and grime. The rubber seal is very easy to remove. Just use a flathead screwdriver to gently pry out the rubber seal out. Use your fingers to check whether your bearing has seized or is there any play in the bearing. You might have some resistance, and this is very common with all the bearings as the bearings are pre-filled with grease. My bike's bearings are in a good shape and does not require any replacement. If your bike bearing even has the slightest of play or if it is seized, you must replace it immediately. Now, as a part of regular maintenance, you have to fill your old bearings with fresh grease. Pry out the dust cap of your bearing with a flathead screwdriver as shown in the video. Once the dust cap is out, clean the dust cap and keep it aside. Also, make sure that your internal surface of your bearing is also clean. You must not use a regular grease to lubricate your bearing. Always use a lithium-based grease which lasts longer and also has a higher heat withstanding capacity. After filling the bearing with lithium-based grease, install the dust cap back. Clean the bearing surface and also remove the excessive grease with the help of a screwdriver. Now repeat the same process with the other bearing. Now, slightly lube the inner surface of your wheel and install the dust seal back. Install the spacer and the hub damper push. Now, let's move to inspecting and greasing the bearing at the sprocket hub end. As shown in the video, use a rod or the bike's axle itself to knock the bearing and its dust cap out from the sprocket hub. Inspect the bearing and replace if required. If your bearing is in good condition, just like how you have done with the other two bearing, fill it with lithium grease and install the same bearing back. Now install the sprocket and the hub back to the wheel and install the wheel back to the bike. I hope this video is informative enough. If you like this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel.